Hey fellow aviators! As you already know, TFS has multiple Easter eggs scattered all around the map. In this video, let's take a look at some new ones, as they're highly likely to appear in the upcoming updates. Let's begin. So, if you don't know or forgot what these TFS buildings are, they're called secrets or Easter eggs. When entering them, you can find sneak peeks of future updates. For example, the one you see right now demonstrates the Gatling gun, which will be part of the upcoming AC-400 gunship. In any case, fact is, they're scattered all around the TFS world map. Now, let's get to the main topic of this video. What secrets could we see in the near future? Well, to figure that out, we have to take a look at the famous what's the near-term priority plans for this flight simulator and what's the long-term priority plans for the simulator tabs, and see what they tell us. These tabs are pretty self-explanatory. In them, Exynos explains which new features are planned for future versions and how high the priority of which one is. Let's start with the near-term priority plans. I've only picked the features that I believe have a realistic chance of being revealed through a secret, and I'll explain why for each one. More secrets showing the progress made in creating the gunships. This one practically speaks for itself. The tab says we've currently seen only 75% of the secrets, including the Gatling gun and cannon assembly, as well as the AC-400 and the AC-130. That leaves another 25% that hasn't been revealed yet, so there's clearly more to come. 20% developed hostile military vehicles equipped with weapons. Now, if I had to guess, we're very likely to get a secret related to this. When the PU-40 was being developed, one of the first Easter eggs we ever got was its matching vehicle mockup. Since these new vehicles are specifically planned to carry weapons, I'd expect the developer to give us a preview before the feature is fully implemented. Civilian road traffic. Unfortunately, its development progress isn't mentioned as of today. However, the wording here is interesting. On one hand, it could simply mean turning existing vehicles, such as the 4x4 and the PU-40's matching vehicle, into AI-controlled traffic, which wouldn't necessarily require a huge amount of additional work. On the other hand, the plan specifically mentions civilian, which could mean completely new types of vehicles, potentially even vehicles created exclusively for AI traffic. If that's the direction the developer takes, it would give us something genuinely new to discover in a secret. A small deserted island with a single airport, used for training and target practice for the upcoming gunships. Considering this would be the first completely new map area since 2019, it could be one of the biggest additions to the upcoming updates. And because of that, I could easily see the developer teasing it for a secret, perhaps by putting a miniature version of the island inside one of the buildings. Now, it's time to move on to the upcoming gunship aircraft. Here's where things get interesting. The A-42 and the AC-130, both 50% developed, as well as the AC-400, 60% developed, have already been revealed for TFS Easter eggs. But there's still the AV-40, which is currently 30% developed. Considering how often important upcoming features have appeared in the secret buildings, it's entirely possible that the AV-40 will get the same treatment. At the same time, we have to remember that Exynos can be unpredictable with these reveals. For example, the MS-26 release came rather suddenly, with practically nothing beforehand pointing towards it. So while an AV-40 secret seems plausible, there's no guarantee we'll see one before the aircraft is released. 12% developed new gunships game mode, featuring a dynamically generated war campaign centered around gunships. Despite waiting for 5 years, it looks like we're still quite far away from the gunships game mode, at least judging by the 12% figure. Still, considering how important this mode is to the future of TFS, it wouldn't be surprising if we eventually got some kind of preview through a secret. Moving on to the long-term priority plans. Here, we don't have any development percentage listed, and these features have the lowest priority. In other words, they're expected to arrive later than everything we've talked about so far. Let's go through them one by one. A C-130-30. This is simply a stretched variant of the C-130. While it could technically appear as an Easter egg, there's not much that would make it stand out compared to some of the other planned features. Because of that, I'd consider this one less likely to get its own secret. Boats and ships. We already have a warship Easter egg that you can find by playing the menu's secret level, but the plan specifically mentioned boats and ships in plural, so this could eventually expand into multiple new watercraft. That makes additional ship-related secrets a possibility, especially if developer starts working on several different types. Helicopters. This one is particularly interesting because we already have the XV-40 and its variants, which are VTOL aircraft capable of flying somewhat like helicopters. However, actual helicopters would introduce a completely different type of flight and could significantly change the gameplay of TFS. Because of that, I'd expect helicopters to be something the developer would want to tease well before their eventual release. Concept VTOL based on the OV-10 Bronco. On one hand, again, TFS already has a VTOL aircraft in the form of the XV-40 and its variants, so the basic concept isn't completely new. But this would still be an entirely new aircraft with a very different design. Since the OV-10 Bronco itself is recognizable and the concept could attract a lot of attention, it would make sense as something to showcase in a secret. Airport fire truck and other vehicles. I recently made a whole video about why an airport fire truck would be such a cool feature. Either way, this category has plenty of potential for secrets. New ground vehicles are relatively easy to showcase visually, and the last time we got a completely new vehicle was all the way back in 2021. A secret could therefore be a good way of introducing players to whatever new vehicles are being worked on. So, what can I say in conclusion? I didn't include smaller features such as visual changes, the ability to save game progress online, and other similar additions. This mainly because it would be pointless, and in some cases nearly impossible, to properly represent those features as physical secrets. But even after leaving those out, there are still plenty of upcoming and long-term features that could potentially be turned into Easter eggs. And honestly, a lot of them would make great secrets. It would be incredible to discover all this new stuff hidden around the map, before it actually gets added to the game. So now, the question is, which of these features do you think we'll see first? Comment below. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you're here for the first time, subscribe for videos like this one. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.